Hey everybody, welcome again to Fully Charged here in beautiful Vancouver. And we're here with the boys from Edison. So I forgot to ask their name, so what's your name?
I'm Chase Barber, founder, CEO, I guess, of Edison.
And
I'm Nigel McCreary, partner with Edison Motors. I'm from Flowdraulic.
Cool. Who's-o?
Flowdraulic.
Flowdraulic. Oh,
Flowdraulic, yeah.
Flowdraulic. Flowdraulic. Okay, so good. Now we've got that all settled. Let's talk about this truck a little bit. First off, it doesn't look like a Freightliner. It doesn't look like any of the other trucks down here, like a Mack or PACCAR or anything. It looks kind of homemade, and kind of it is. Designed and built by truckers for truckers. So what kind of trucking does this
This is
design
handling those heavy trucking side of the industry. Like, I'm a log truck driver. For the last 15 years, me and my business partner have had a logging truck company. We've done that kind of work. So I really like the benefits of electric vehicles, but they weren't being tailored to our application, which I think is so perfect for electric. So we kind of said, well, screw it. We'll build our own electric truck. And
Cool. So let me ask, or let me let our audience know, what's the diameter of a log that you'd like to have from up?
oh, yeah, a nice big old pumpkin like that. Something like a nice 4-foot diameter.
4 foot? Yeah. But they get bigger, don't they?
They get bigger. Yeah, you can get up to 6 foot.
Yeah, 6 foot in diameter.
Yeah, where I've had it where 4 logs filled the entire truck up.
And how long?
I do a lot of short ones, so I do 20, but in the long log setup on the back there, we got it up to about 60 to 80 feet long.
60 to 80 feet long. So how much would a 6 foot in diameter, 80 foot log, how much would that weigh? How many tons?
Oh, the full load coming into the scale weighs in around that 45 ton, about 100,000 pounds.
100,000 pounds, 45 tons. That's a lot. So at the end of the day, what we're looking at is a totally, if we look at just logging for now, it's a totally different kind of duty cycle and business case than everything else. So what I'd like to do is maybe have you talk a little bit about what we were talking before about going up the hill and downhill and that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, I really like electric especially for logging in BC. If you notice in BC, all the mountains, all the trees are always at the top of the mountain. You're going up empty, you're coming down loaded, you're using that stored potential energy of the logs at the top of the mountain to regenerate that power back into the batteries to go back up empty.
Yeah. So the idea here is it's almost and not quite, and not even close actually, to a perpetual motion machine. What you're doing is you're starting off with a full battery. You go to the top of the mountain, you pick up your load of basically 50 tons, and now you're going to be swinging back down. And as you're going down, you're probably still going to have to touch the brake periodically, but for the most part, you're looking for regen to regenerate the batteries, but also to slow you down. Because going up is easy, going down is tough. Because now the load is incredible.
Really pushing it, yep.
Yeah. And in fact, anybody who's run up a hill knew it's tough. Run down a hill and don't nosedive. Yeah?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question then. What do we got here for a power pack?
For the batteries, we have 280 kilowatt hour lithium iron batteries.
Lithium ion.
Yeah,
Ion or iron?
iron.
Iron.
Yeah, a little bit better for your charge cycles.
Yeah. And by the way, that 1912 vehicle upstairs, that's what it had was metal iron, but
nice.
but that's and they're still usable. So anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, that was the basic. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
280 kilowatt hours of battery storage on this thing,
And
the back end we have 2 electric axles, each at 250 kilowatts, about 500 kilowatts, giving you about 600-700 horsepower on the back end there.
so is the front? I didn't look. You got a motor in the front? No.
Yeah, we have
do you?
a Caterpillar C9 diesel generator in the front.
Ah.
Because one of the one issue with it is that when we did the math, these trucks, and from testing that old 1960s truck that we built first,
Yeah.
the logging truck is still going to use about 2.5 megawatts of power to get through a full shift. You still have the issue once you come down, you got to get to the mill, and you got to get that, you're 150,000 pounds when you're fully loaded, and you still got to get that around. So what we do is we put in we call it our plug-in hybrid, is the generator fires up, you get about 2-3 hours of driving off those batteries, the generator fires up, and 1 hour it's recharging those batteries as you're driving down the road if you don't have access to full regenerative braking. Because some of the times the mill's a little bit farther, the highway driving's a little bit longer, and you can't, it would be nice to do the perpetual motion, but sometimes you need the extra range.
Yeah, Mother Nature takes over. Actually, the one thing that I thought was that when you got down from the mountain, you'd probably just disconnect that load, let somebody else haul it to the mill. But if that's not the business case, I guess then it's slightly different than what I was talking about.
Well, yeah, the one problem with that is that the logging trailers in BC, you can't drop them. They're permanently bolted to the truck, and the truck can't switch trailers once it's loaded.
I did not know that.
That's the biggest downside, or else, yeah, it would be easy. And there are a lot of applications where, yeah, you'll never have to fire that generator up. You can trip your bunks, you go down to the bottom of the water, you trip your bunks, the logs roll down to the water, and the tugboat takes them to the mill, or the mill's at the bottom of the hill. But now we tend to have consolidated our mills. We're running much larger mills, but we're running fewer mills, so you have to go a little bit farther. They found that was more economical, and in some of the use cases, you need that backup power.
Yeah, especially if you have to refacilitate.
Yeah. So but we're already showing about a 50% reduction in fuel on average.
50%
reduction.
Yeah. That's a good number.
That's a good number.
Really significant. How much money were you spending a month in fuel?
Oh, logging truck burns $20,000 in fuel in BC.
A month?
A month, yeah. So
wow.
You think about the carbon that even just this system offsets. It's
just out of curiosity.
It's pretty massive.
Just out of curiosity, how many gallons per mile would you be putting out?
Oh, gallons a mile.
By the way, gallons a mile, it's not miles per gallon now, it's gallons per mile.
Liters per 100 kilometers?
Yeah, I know the liters per 100 kilometers,
okay,
but
so
we do average about 80 liters per 100 kilometers.
Yeah, okay.
So that's almost that liter a kilometer.
A liter a kilometer. So a kilometer is 5/8 of a mile. So here's the deal, boys and girls. And I don't even know what's a liter of diesel fuel cost you now?
About $1.80, $2 a liter
so
nowadays.
Call it $2 a liter. Say roughly 4 liters per gallon, and you're looking at
500 liters a day is what you put in.
That's almost a gallon a mile, I guess.
Yeah. That's kind of rough on the pocketbook. So let's have a look at. Why don't you give us where do you hide the batteries and stuff like that?
So we got a few batteries under here. They've got a full guard, side impact guard, and then a solid metal bar in front of them. And then the other place we have put the batteries is in the frame rail. I like the frame rail for protection. And with these batteries, due to the rough conditions logging, what we did is we put these on airbags. So they're on air ride batteries. So these airbags are going to make it independent of the frame. It'll eliminate that side twist because you've got a lot of frame twist in a truck. So those batteries are going to float independently. When you hit the bumps, those airbags are going to cushion it, just like the cab. You'll notice the cab's kind of leaning back because it's on airbags to cushion it for the driver.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I'm pretty proud of that.
So just out of curiosity, how many gallons does this thing take? These look like about 30 gallons or something like that?
Yeah, they're 350 liter tanks.
45 gallons, is that right?
Gallons.
Yeah.
Just divided by, or multiply
it by 4. Okay, about 80 gallons.
80
gallon tanks, which is half the size of a normal truck.
Yeah.
80 each, yeah.
So let's look at topside here. What's the deal with the candy striping? What does that do for you?
We ordered, so on the high voltage line, one of my things that I never liked about these, especially logging, heavy vocational, is that they just run their wires out on the rubber.
Yeah.
I don't like the wear points. If you'll learn anything on a logging truck, it wears. Now I ordered some orange Nyla guard. It didn't make it in time for the show, but this is what you would run on like a processor or a feather buncher head, and it's a wear resistant. So we have plastic loom on top of, we have orange plastic loom on top of the rubber, and then we have wear-resistant nyla guard like you would have on a buncher head.
Right.
So it's really going to make sure those high voltage. So anywhere we have high voltage lines, we've run nyla guard to just impact that. And the other thing is, it's a visual wear indicator. If you do have rubbing, you want to find out that you're wearing through this guard as part of your pre-trip. You'll say, oh, this is wearing. It gives you time to address it before you have a ground fault issue.
Cool. So what does this unit weigh?
This unit comes in around 25,000, 26,000 pounds, which is actually comparable to a normal diesel truck. That's one of the cool things is because you normally run a 15, 16 liter engine. We've dropped that down to an 8.5 liter engine, 9 liter engine.
Who's
basically.
are you using? Cummins or who's?
We're using a Cat.
Cat.
Yeah, basically a Cat generator.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. You did mention it was a Cat generator. So the generator sits up front,
Yep.
Also operates
how many
at
liters did you say that was?
9.
9.
Nine.
Rounding into 9.
Is
yeah.
that an inline 6 or the?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
inline 6. So I'm kind of familiar with that
Right.
particular engine.
And it's way lighter than you normally. We
Right,
lose
yeah.
2,000 pounds off the generator weight, and that almost offsets the battery. And because it's getting better fuel mileage, instead of having two 500 or two 600 liter tanks, we've gone down to 350 liter tanks. So you reduce that weight in fuel. So this truck actually weighs pretty well exactly what the diesel comparison. So you're not sacrificing the weight if you go with this approach.
And we
Well,
really
and that's the big thing for anybody who's in trucking. Give me a lighter truck so I can carry more load.
Right.
Yeah.
We were talking to one of our customers, and every pound they said that they save works out to $50 over 5 years. $10 a year in extra revenue that truck brings in, less
Yeah.
fuel burn. You lose 1,000 pounds, that's like $100,000 over 5 years. Like it adds up.
It truly does, yeah.
Yeah.
We
So-
really haven't paid a huge penalty for the battery and electric system on this truck, which is pretty amazing for its utility.
So, what is the price of this thing?
Well,
Or
this
sell
particular one was built on a $1.5 million budget.
Yeah. So engineering, development, everything that we put
Well,
into
I
this
mean,
truck.
what do you think it?
It's about 20. The best way, because we're building these to a heavy vocational, everything is so different in that heavy vocational. Some people want tri-drive, some people want twin steer. It's hard to just give a set price. The way I say it, it's about 25% more than the diesel equivalent. You have the heavy vocational truck. So a
Okay,
heavy one
so
is around,
about 100
you take an average truck, the way it's spec'd out right now, this truck goes for about $500,000, $600,000, heavy spec'd out, C500, metal butterfly hoods. We're coming in around that 700,000 range,
Yeah.
800,000 range, give or
But-
take. We're still real early, so
But
don't
it is
get
Yeah,
me
but
on
the
that
thing is,
100%.
yeah, but at the end of the day, right? The cheapest part of buying a truck is buying the truck.
Absolutely.
Everything else after that is what really is going to cost you. So, running this and cutting your fuel costs in half, it didn't take
$10,000
long.
a month, right?
$10,000 a month. So 2 years, you're
Yeah. And then-
you're in the black.
And
So,
then downtime is your biggest killer. Lost
Yeah.
revenue, opportunity costs. I
Yeah.
can show you a few things we've done. Like owning a trucking company myself and like rebuilding trucks. I've learned a few things that I think are like, if you'll notice on here on airlines, every airline on this truck is steel braided rubber hose. There's no plastic, no nylon, because you think about it, you get an air leak.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to pay a mobile mechanic at $300 an hour to come out there, 2-3 hours minimum. Well, now that's $900. Plus your truck was sitting there broke down at, these logging trucks go out for about $300 an hour. $350 an hour is what these trucks bill out for when they go to work.
is that including the driver?
Yeah, that's including the driver, like
Really?
the driver wages and all that.
Yeah.
It works by the
that's
ton
cheap.
hour.
That's. I would have. Well, okay, go ahead. I thought it was high. I thought it was higher than that. I thought it was like $400 or $500 an hour, depending
No,
on
it's
where
about $350. It's a little bit less, but you get consistent work logging. That's
Yeah.
one of the benefits of logging is you know you're getting your 14, 15-hour day, Monday to Friday. And,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's when you learn and you add up that downtime, doing little things like not having nylon hoses, no push connects, proper weatherhead hydraulic fittings on the airline makes a big difference in the longevity. I've had, that truck built in 1962 was built 5 blocks away from here.
Is that a
Built-
northern?
Kenworth.
Oh, Kenworth.
Canadian Kenworth, yeah, made in Vancouver, BC.
Wow.
I've got the timber slips of that truck. That truck was out hauling logs till 2004.
Wow.
Yeah, and you look on that truck, and we studied. I mean, we're not truck builders, but we looked at these trucks, and well, it's got steel braided air lines with rubber hose. It lasts way longer than any plastic things. It's little things like that make such a big difference. Like on this truck, on the heavy spec logger, instead of running a double frame, we're running a 1/2-inch single frame. A double frame on a truck gives you about 110,000 pounds PSI tensile strength. A 3/8 frame rail gives you about 80,000 PSI tensile strength. The 1/2-inch is about 105, so you're only losing 5,000 pounds, but you don't have a double frame, and what happens is with the salt and the corrosion, it gets in between that double frame rust jacket.
Rots it from the joint down.
We're super lucky on this project. Chase has such an amazing sense of the things that have worked in the most rugged environments, right? And we have some other advisors kind of on the team that have worked in other like incredibly like heavy duty environments where, you know, having those machines that are going to be robust, I mean, it's really added to the longevity and like the strength of this truck. And I hope informs us in the future as we like build these into production, right?
About this brake pedal.
That is a Bendix Westinghouse air brake pedal. So a Westinghouse air brake stops the Edison truck.
And you have to go deeper into that, so people know what about Westinghouse and
history on that one. So Thomas Edison and Westinghouse were direct competitors during the air brake war. Westinghouse made his fortune off of train air brakes, and then he later got into truck air brakes. But on the AC-DC current, he fought Thomas Edison whether AC or DC was better.
Correct.
And I thought that the irony was fantastic that a Westinghouse air brake pedal stops the Edison truck.
Perfect. Yep. And if if those guys ever come back from the dead, I'm sure that Mr. Westinghouse will go and yell, and Mr. Tesla will yell at you.
Probably.
So, but anyway, this looks pretty good. And one thing that I do like about electric trucks is, well, where's the gear shift? It ain't got one.
Nope.
Well, where's the clutch? Doesn't need that either. So this is kind of like, to me, because I did drive heavy vehicles at one time, having just one pedal. What a great idea. And I'll bet you dollars to donuts, you're going to get into a one pedal driving situation. I do not use the brake on the Rivian, the Ford Lightning, or the Model 3 ever. I just drive with one foot.
Well, that should be one of the nice things for truckers.
Absolutely.
Is that truckers are used to having a Jake brake.
Yeah.
So you're used to coming off the throttle, having that Jake kick on. We've designed this regen to work exactly the same way off that one pedal.
Yeah.
And then a couple of nice things we've done for the drivers. Look at the high beam switch.
Yeah. This is, you know how long it's been since I saw one of those? I thought that was kind of cool. I looked down at it and I thought, man, the only thing is, like, if I've got boots on and they're full of snow and shit, I'm wondering if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. Because that's why we got rid of them on cars, was because people just didn't. And initially, when they brought it out, it was up high. You had to like go up here to click it, but then they moved it down lower to get rid of some wire or something, and then they kept getting choked and dirty. Initially, people kept their car clean all the time, and then as time went by, not so much.
Yeah, I tried to lift it off the floor. We put some dielectric grease on there, but at the end of the day, that high beam switch is $6.50. If this high beam switch goes, undo the two bolts, spend $6 and put a new switch in, put a couple new pins in. It's not a $400 high beam switch. Like our turn signal is the same turn signal on that 1962 Kenworth is the same turn signal that Western Star used up until like 2016, all the way from the 60s. That turn signal, $50. This trailer air valve here, solid steel, like it's a steel one, it's not a plastic one. It's $80. If you buy one of the new OEM plastic ones, you can be looking at $400 for a plastic switch. That's $80. It's metal. It'll last for 40, 50 years before you have to worry about it.
Amazing.
Like, we tried to make this thing I feel like if I'm going to charge somebody that price for a truck, they better make sure that they can keep that truck for, the only thing I want them to do, maybe after 7-10 years, like doing an engine rebuild, take the batteries out, swap the new ones in. Other than that, everything on your truck should last.
Actually, you're going to find that they're going to last a lot longer than you think. So one thing we should mention, because I'm almost positive, a million people are going to say, well, I don't see the speedometer and I don't see blah, blah, all the normal crap that you'd see on a truck. But this is an off-road truck, correct?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really need any of that stuff.
It's up top.
It's
I put
up
them where
top?
you would put them on like a grader or
Oh, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you went totally modern. Wowzers. So
A
do you
little
have
bit
any-
of old school, a little bit of new school.
Yeah, do you have like any kind of rear-facing cameras or anything?
No, we didn't get that fancy. We can do it, but we built this truck in 6 months.
Oh, you did a good job for 6 months. Yeah.
Oh, wow, thank you.
So what?
I got the wigwag back in. I love the old air wigwag, so when you get low pressure, it drops
Yeah.
down in front of your view.
Yeah.
I looked up like the FMCSS rules as an OEM,
Yeah.
and you need 2 warning devices. You need a light, we got the low air light on the dash, or you need a buzzer or a wigwag. So rather than having a buzzer, as a truck driver, I'd hate it when you started your truck up in the morning and bang, at 3 a.m. going to work. So I
Yeah.
said, no, I'm going to put a wigwag back in, and it'll drop down in front of your view. You'll
Yeah.
see it. And
Yeah. And here's the wigwag. So for those who don't know, and that'll also tell you if you're tipping the truck a little too far. So, yeah, I haven't seen one of those since I was younger than you. So I'm kind of impressed. Is there anything else that you think the planet should know about your vehicle?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
We-
kind
we
of like
can-
when you get too close. It's hard to. But I will tell you, the thing looks pretty damn rugged. For cranking it out in the amount of time that you were, you had here to do the engineering and the build, sounds pretty. It looks pretty good. I'm telling you. So somebody asked me, what's the best thing I saw at the show? And I said, I don't know. I haven't seen the Edison truck yet. I'll tell you when I get done. So now I got to go and talk to somebody. I think one of them standing right over there waiting for the answer. This is pretty damn good. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're
Yeah.
proud.
Yeah, and well, you should be. So anyway, thanks for watching Munro Live, and for all you loggers out there, maybe you need to talk to the Edison guys here about getting on the list for their nuke truck. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm really.